وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, colleagues, mentors, teachers, parents, and all participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to the launching ceremony of online certificate program in Qur'an and Sunnah studies for 2023 by International Institute of Islamic Thought, East and Southeast Asia. This is, I believe, the second consecutive year we are proceeding with these online courses. It will be most likely explained in detail after this. So Alhamdulillah, we have reached a point where we can launch the program now. This is, Alhamdulillah, a great moment for this year in the month of Sha'ban. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that everything goes well and as planned this year as well. To begin our program, we will begin with recitation of the Holy Quran by Brother Muhammad Izzat Mokhali, and he will recite a few verses from the Quran, and then we will proceed with the opening addresses by the honorable guests who have been invited this evening. Brother Izzat, if you hear me, you can now proceed with the tilawa, inshallah. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا كبيرا وأن الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا وجعلنا الليل والنهار آيتين فمحونا آية الليل وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة لتبتغوا فضلا من ربكم ولتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء فصلناه تفصيلا وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا من اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وما كنا معذبين حتى نبعث رسولا وإذا أردنا أن نهلك قرية أمرنا مترفيها ففسقوا فيها فحق عليها القول فدمرناها تدميرا وكم أهلكنا من القرون من بعد نوح وكفى بربك بذنوب عباده خبيرا بصيرا صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم. Thank you, Brother Muhammad Izzat, for that beautiful tilawa of the Quran. Now we will proceed to the introductory address, the opening address for this year's launching ceremony for our online courses by Professor Emeritus, Dato Wira, Dr. Jamil Osman. Dr. Jamil, if you can hear me, the floor is yours. فليتفضل مشكور.
Yeah, Dato is meeting.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Brother Rashad, our moderator, and also he is the deputy coordinator of this program. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Prof. Omar, Hasan Kasule, Secretary General of the IIIT, who is currently in Muscat, Oman. Professor Dato Fauzan Noordin, the Director of IIIT for East and Southeast Asia. Professor Shukran Abdul Rahman, the Dean of Kuliah Abdo Hamid Abu Salman Kuliah of Islamic Arabic Knowledge and Human Sciences, the owner of this program. Dr. Nashwan, the head of the Department of Qur'an Sunnah Studies at the Kuliah. Professor Aslam, the Director of Academic Affairs at IIIT East and South Asia. Representative of IIIT from Indonesia, Hong Kong, South Korea, China, Japan, Thailand, Philippines, Myanmar, and Singapore and Brunei. Respected speakers from the Department of Quran and Sunnah Studies at Abdo Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kuliah Islamic Arabic Knowledge and Human Sciences. Respected audience and all over the world. And for your information, we have almost 16,000 participants from 62 countries registered in our database of the online program. And brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
I wish to welcome all the guests and participants to this official launching of the online certificate program organized by IIIT East and Southeast Asia in collaboration with the Department of Quran and Sunnah Studies, Abdo Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kuliah Islamic Arabic Knowledge Human Sciences, IIUM. This program actually we run on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Malaysian time. And for those who are in Africa and other regions, may have to look at the time difference. Maybe in Africa, 2 a.m. in the morning when we start at 9 a.m. in the morning here. So the course will start tomorrow on the 4th of March for 18 weeks. Okay, just for your information, our course will start tomorrow at 9 a.m. So this is a launching night actually. It is important that all participants to register the course online using the form provided. You have to fill in the form online, and so that their names will be registered and included in our WhatsApp groups. We have so far about 26 groups altogether, and more will be registered in the future, where all lecture notes, reading materials, and further information from the Secretariat will be posted in this WhatsApp group. So it is important. If you don't register, you might not be able to get the correct info. So at the end of the program, the participant will have to declare their attendance. And those who attended 80% or more in the online classes will be eligible to sit in the examination. We will give you a very short exam and will be to all the participants. The participant who pass the examination and who wish to claim for the certificate will be required to pay a small fee of $10 US dollars. So this is for the certificate. The participant in our program, we have the link we have given to you through Zoom, but Zoom can accommodate about 1,000 participants only. So if there are more than 1,000 participants, they can go through the Facebook Live. Is also the link also given to all of you in our invitation, and also go to the YouTube. For those who are having time different between our Malaysian time, so they might be inconvenient to attend through Zoom or any other media, they can go to Facebook Live or recorded YouTube. The Facebook have been created because of this constraint. For the newcomers to this certificate programs, prior to this program in January 2022, we had offered a 14-week program on certificate in IRK. Among the courses that we have covered, those are Aqidah, Introduction to Hadith, Sharia and Fiqh, Islamic History, Islamic Da'wah, Islamic Ethics, Knowledge, Science and Civilization. And those are some of the introductory courses offered at the International Islamic University, where all the students will be required to take this course. So it is very elementary, but it's very useful for those who have not attended the formal program in all the courses. And between 30th July till 26th November, for 18 weeks, we offered also the higher level program, the certificate in Fiqh and Usul Fiqh program. So with this, the second program, we cover the program on the Islamic worldview, Tasawwur Islami, and we have also covered Islamic jurisprudence, Al-Fiqh Al-Islami, Principle of Islamic Jurisprudence, Usul Fiqh, Islamic Legal Maxim, Al-Qawaid Al-Fiqhiyah, Objective of Sharia, Maqasid Sharia, and the concept of Halal and Haram in Sharia, Juristic Study of Financial Contract, and Jurisprudence, Fiqh Al-Mukarram. So also we cover contemporary juristic issues on Qadaya Fiqhiyah and Wasira, and banking and financial market. And also we covered the application of Fiqh and also Fiqh banking finance. This is the applied part, not taught by the kuliah, but we got the people from outside in the industry who make use of who apply the Fiqh and also Fiqh in their work, Islamic banking finance. And also we have one professional talking about Maqasid Sharia in management, hospitality, banking and finance. And this certificate of Fiqh, also Fiqh, is higher level of program offered by the kuliah. However, the participant who do not have or who have not taken the earlier certificates program can still follow this program, especially those who already have the prior knowledge on all the above. We also offered certificate in Islamic economics. This is important for those who are teaching economics, especially to understand fiqh and also fiqh, or to have some basic knowledge in Islam. So at the same time, we are offering the course which is channel toward for those who understand, those who are already teaching the course, or those who have not taken any courses in Islamic economics. So Alhamdulillah, the course was conducted together at the same time with the certificate in fiqh and also fiqh. The new program that we are offering tomorrow, the certificate in Qur'an Sunnah studies, I think it is the third course offered by the kuliah. It is in different department. This is a third department of Qur'an and Sunnah, and we will be offering the courses that being offered in the kuliah, and the lecturers are teaching the same course. For example, introduction to prophetic history, which will be taught by Dr. Hafiz Salahuddin, and introduction to Al-Quran, Dr. Noordin, and introduction to Hadith by Dr. Muhammad Adli Musa, and trend in the studies of Sunnah, Dr. Khairil, and trend in the Quranic studies, and also we have fundamental of tafsir, fundamental of hadith, revelation of source of knowledge, and the 8 courses are being offered by the department. But in addition to that, we have 4 more courses on applied. We are inviting Professor Omar Hasan Kasule, who is a medical expert in Saudi Arabia. He will be talking about the application of Al-Quran and science in Islam. So he'll be talking about biological science. And Professor Emeritus Dr. Yusuf Osman will be talking about the physical sciences, Al-Quran and physical science. And then we have Professor Dr. Shafi Antonio, who is currently the chairman of Tazkiyah University in Indonesia. He is an expert in economics and banking and finance. He'll be talking about Quran and economics and business. So we have also Professor Jamal Badi, who will be talking about thinking styles in the light of Quran. So it will be very interesting for all of you. The later part of 4 weeks, we will be each lecturer will cover 6 weeks. So brothers and sisters, you are very fortunate to be part of this program. And first, because you are attending a university program, but you don't have to be physically in the university. This course is offered through online. Second, the subjects that you will be attending is similar to the courses that are taught by the lecturers to the formal student at IIUM. And third, your lecturers are those who are also teaching the course at IIUM. So this is something that very fortunate for you. Finally, you are in a class of a big number of students. As I told you, 16,000 students already in our database. Most of them, they attend through all the 3 channels that we offer. MashaAllah, maybe this is the biggest classroom in the world. You can see that. Not like in the formal university, we have 40 to 100 students. MashaAllah, may Allah reward all the lecturers in the kuliah of Abdo Hamid Abu Sulaiman, IRKHS, especially for the Department of Qur'an Sunnah, the organizers in the IIIT East of Asia and in the kuliah, especially Professor Shukran, Professor Fauzan, Dr. Rashad, Professor Shukran, Sister Juwaria, Sister Shamimi. They are all working hard toward the success of this program. And the IIIT USA who have given the sponsor to this program financially, because we are charging very minimal $10 US. Just the rest are all being provided by the IIIT. And for your information, IIIT is an organization established in the USA in 1981. For those who have not, who do not know much about IIIT, dedicated to developing and disseminating knowledge to the Ummah across the globe. May Allah reward all those who set up this organization. Among them are Professor Omar Kasule is among them, and even our current Prime Minister is one of the pioneers, the top 7 pioneers who started with this organization. Among the activities of IIIT are research project we are doing, writing and publishing book related to Islam and Islamization of knowledge, summer and winter camps, although we don't have summer and winter, but we are organizing the program for those who are in summer or those who are in winter at other part of the world. And for the youth, training for teachers in various disciplines, conducting seminars and conferences, providing scholarship for students doing MBA, MA, PhD at universities, and many more. Our program today is among the program to provide knowledge to the student, teachers, and general public who do not have the opportunity to acquire a formal learning on Islam at the universities. So, because we have the two kind of education, so those who are going for conventional education, they might not have the formal learning of Islam from the university courses. So these are the people who will be attending our courses. The courses that this will be taught, which will be taught in this program, are taken from the courses that are taught at the university, as I was telling you. So our program is designed in such a way that students are attending a structured university program. So we thank so much the lecturers from the department, our Qur'an Sunnah, and all the others who take part in this program. Also to our invited speakers who had vast experience in the industry, Professor Omar Hasan Kasule, Professor Dr. Shafi Antonio, Professor Emeritus Dr. Yusuf Osman, and Dr. Jamal Badi, who will be talking about application of Quran and Sunnah and science and economics. In fact, all the lecturers will sacrifice, in fact, their weekend. Every Saturday, they will be with us for 6 weeks to 18 weeks in our program. So for all participants, I hope you take seriously in attending the classes and make full use of the opportunity to acquire Islamic knowledge through formal online learning that organized by IIIT. I wish to thank my committees who have been planning this program, in fact, for the past 3 months, and will be with us for the next 18 weeks. If you have any problem, we have our contacts. You can WhatsApp, you can email to our committee. And to ensure that the program runs smoothly, the committee will be in contact with the participant through this channel, WhatsApp and email. Finally, I wish to thank everybody and pray to Allah that He will reward all of us good deeds and good intention in all our work, inshallah. Sekian wabillahi taufiq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Professor Emeritus Dato Wira, Dr. Jamil Osman, who is the director of this program and also the advisor for IIIT East and Southeast Asia, for that nice introduction. Just to reiterate for anyone who came late, our first class begins tomorrow, Saturday, 9 a.m. Malaysian time. So you have to check your time zone and find 9 a.m. In your area, 9 a.m. Malaysian time. And we encourage all participants to join live on Zoom, if possible. so that it allows for better interaction with the instructor, with the lecturer, and you can hopefully participate in the class. Although we have all the 3 channels online and you can access the class later, but it is encouraged for everyone who participates to try to join live so that you can benefit the most from this nice opportunity. Just to reiterate, we will have 18 weeks for this class, as Dato just mentioned. And the first 6 weeks will begin tomorrow until the 3rd week of Ramadan. And then we will have a couple of weeks break for Ramadan and Shawwal. And then we will proceed with week 7 onwards after that short break. So we'll have the first 6 weeks, once a week, Saturday, every week. And then we will have a short break for Ramadan and Eid and Shawwal. And then as the schedule will show, we will continue from Shawwal onwards, week 7 onwards after that. Thank you so much, Dato, for that very clear introduction. I would like now to take this opportunity to invite Dr. Nashwan Abdo Khaled, who is the head of the Qur'an and Sunnah Studies Department in the Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, providing most of the lecturers for this particular course, to also present his welcoming speech to the participants. Dr. Nashwan, you're welcome. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Thank you. Jazakallah khairan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. منزل القرآن بالحكمة والبيان والصلاة والسلام على النبي العدنان وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. أما بعد, Honorable Prof, Emeritus, Dato Wira, Dr. Jamil Osman, Program Director, Honorable Prof, Dr. Shukran Abdul Rahman, Dean, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, Honorable Prof. Dato Dr. Muhammad Fauzan, Noordin, Director of IIIT ESEA, keynote speakers, professors, doctors, academicians, researchers, scholars, audience, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And great thanks for your participation in this noble event. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this blessed event, launching of online short course certificate in Quran and Sunnah studies. On behalf of the department members of Quran and Sunnah studies, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Science, we extremely happy to be part of this program, collaborating with IIIT to spread the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah. Being connected to the Quran is an honor for the one who is connecting to it, and it raises him in status, no matter what the nature of the connection to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it is in writing, calligraphy, lettering, memorizing, recitation, learning, or acting upon it. Every kind of connection to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and occupying oneself and one's time with it an honor for him and raises him in the status in this world and in the hereafter. With the level of this connection for Allah has set measure to all things. In connection to this, we come to the 3rd level of IIIT online course to launch the certificate in Quran and Sunnah course, which follow a success completion of the previous online course for the certificate in Islamic Revealed Knowledge in 2022. The program is designed to equip students with the introductory knowledge in some of the major themes in the study of Quran and Sunnah, with courses covering aspects of classical and contemporary subject matter related to Quran and Sunnah studies. The program is aimed at producing students with knowledge, proficiency, methodological skill, capable of dealing with the fundamental sources of Islam, namely the Quran and traditions of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Moreover, the program aims at putting the interdisciplinary teaching approach to help the participants to better relate and apply teaching of these fundamental sources of the Sharia to various conditions and situations in our daily lives. We hope that the program achieves its objectives in serving a wide range of students, inshallah. May Allah Almighty grant its blessings and success. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen.
Thank you very much for your interest in participation, presence, and contribution. I once again welcome you all and I wish you all the best. Barakallahu fikum jami'an wa as'alullaha lana wa lakum at-tawfiq was-sadad wal-naf' wal-fa'idah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Nashwan Abdul Khalid, Head of the Quran and Sunnah Study Department at the IIRKHS, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences at the IIUM, for that welcoming speech for all the participants of this year's online course, short course certificate in Quran and Sunnah Studies. Our next speaker is the Honorable Dean of the Kulliyah of Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, Professor Shukran Abdul Rahman, will also deliver his welcoming speech. فليتفضل دكتور.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. آمين. أما بعد. Thank you, Dr. Rashad. Honorable Professor Dr. Omar Hasan Kasule, IIIT, Professor Dato Dr. Fauzan Noordin, Director of IIIT East and Southeast Asia, Professor Emeritus Dato Wira, Dr. Jamil Osman, the Chairman or the Director for this program, Dr. Nashwan, the Khaled, the Head Department of Quran and Sunnah Studies in Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences. I also see Pak Dr. Habib Khirzin, Director of IIIT Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, participants of this online program, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very pleasant evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. So I would like to, on behalf of Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, offer our appreciation to IIIT Asia and Southeast Asia for engaging the Kulliyah again. I think this is the third time IIIT Asia and Southeast Asia had engaged the Kulliyah for this online certificate program. The first one was Islamic Revealed Knowledge Certificate Program. Second was on Fiqh and Usul Fiqh certificate program. So, but there are also engagement with other kulliyahs. But for this kulliyah, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, this is the third time. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I think we have heard a lot of the term or the name Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kulliyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you this kulliyah. So this kulliyah is named after the second rector of the International Islamic University Malaysia, who is none other than Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Professor Emeritus Dr. Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman. He was the founder of this kuliah in the year 1990. So we are celebrating our 33rd anniversary this year. This kuliah is a unique kuliah of faculty in the sense that it has three missions, or four missions rather. The first one is Islamization of knowledge. Second is integration of knowledge. Third is relevantization of knowledge. And the fourth one is to conduct research in the area of Islamic revealed knowledge and human sciences combined or integrated. So the thrust of this kuliah is integration, Islamization and relevantization. And I believe this certificate program in Qur'an and Sunnah studies will enable you to see how principles of hadith or teachings from Sunnah or Quran can be contextualized to our current challenging phenomena or life phenomena. All right, so for that, I would like to thank also our colleagues from the Department of Quran and Sunnah Studies, who are subject matter experts in the area of Quran studies and also Sunnah studies. I believe that you will benefit from the lesson that they will be sharing with all of you. So, and for your information, Dato, Jamil, Professor Fauzan, Professor Omar, the kuliah looks forward to continue working with IIIT in offering an online program like this. And this afternoon in our kuliah management meeting, we have agreed that after we complete this online certificate program on Quran Sunnah Studies, there will be another department who would like to continue with another online certificate program. So that is to make sure that the amanah, the responsibility which is mandated upon this kuliah by the founding father can be continued. All right, Professor Hasan, I can ensure you that we are very committed in the agenda of integration and Islamization plus relevantization, so that we look forward to continue working with the institute in spreading the Islamic studies program in the structure conceptualized by our founding fathers. All right, so I think that's all for tonight. So thank you very much to all participants for your interest and for your commitment to follow this program. I believe that the program will be an impactful one. It will help you to position yourself by applying the principles of Quran and Sunnahs in enduring or in facing our life today and in future, inshallah. So wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Prof. Shukran, for those encouraging words. Prof. Shukran is one of the strong supporters, and the kuliah of IIRKHS is one of the strong supporters of IIIT East and Southeast Asia in this program and many other programs. So we thank you very much for your unwavering support to IIIT and for your kind welcoming remarks. Our next presenter is the director of IIIT East and Southeast Asia, Professor Dato Fauzan Noordin. He is the head of IIIT East and Southeast Asia, and he will now deliver his welcoming speech. Prof. Fauzan, falyatafaddal mashkura.
Thank you, Dr. Rashad. Sorry for delaying the participants because this to have some kind of introduction to know each other, like Ta'aruf. My dear respected Professor Omar, Dr. Omar Hasan Kasule, the Secretary General, Professor Emeritus Dr. Jamil Osman, the coordinator or the director of this program, Prof. Shukran, the Dean, Shukran Rahman, the Dean of Islamic Revealed Knowledge, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Islamic Urban Knowledge in Human Sciences, Dr. Nashwan Khaled, Pak Habib Cherzen from Indonesia, the director of Triparty in Indonesia, and Brother Yusuyu, the director of Triparty Hong Kong, and I believe Dr. Ma'adri is one of the lecturers who are going to join this program, Dr. Abdul Hafiz and Dr. Sani bin Jamil. I think these the representative of Islamic Urban Knowledge in Sciences, IIIT and IRKHS. Well, as Dr. Jamil said, this is the launching of the online certificate for Qur'an and Sunnah studies. And with us we have 1,600 participants already, and from 62 countries. Tonight alone, we have 128 participants from Philippines, Nigeria, Egypt, Indonesia, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, Oman, Bangladesh, and around the world, Alhamdulillah. So I believe this is my dream. We're going to have our Islamic online universities. We have Coursera for the the traditional or the secular knowledge, but we have to have our own Islamic studies or Islamic universities online. And this is we already start this Zoom courses like Triparty Intellectual Discourse Online since COVID-19. We cannot move around, and we need to have activities, Alhamdulillah, with this technology. And we had this kind of program. And tonight also, we're going to have another workshop, parent-child relationship workshop with Dr. Omar Al-Talib from United States. So at 10 o'clock, I'm going to join them. So we are keep busy. Like even this last Monday, our Prime Ministers of Malaysia, also the Chairman Emeritus of IIIT, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, launched the International Forum on Islamophobia. So these is activities that we want our brothers and sisters around the world keep busy to think about Muslim Ummah. Muslim Ummah in the state of helpless, that we should help them. We're supposed to be intellectual. We should to be more, we call it, prepared to face all these new challenges. But unfortunately, we are the one that left behind. So we did not understand Quran very well as such way that Allah SWT asks us to iqra. But unfortunately, most of our Ummah is not practicing what Allah SWT asked to do. So this kind of program is very good, and to encourage all of us, and all the brothers here and sisters become our ambassadors, become our da'i to spread this da'wah. And we in Triparty believe to help the Muslim Ummah is through education. To have education, we have to focus on Islamization and integration of knowledge. And previously, I think last month, or actually it's January, our Prime Ministers, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, launched this concept of Madani for the Malaysian government. And one of the concept is innovation. And here what we're doing, we innovate how we learn Quran and Sunnah through online. And this is, we can reach out more audience in a short time, and we can share the knowledge of Islam within a short period of time. And inshallah, and we can do more. And for Triparty ESEA Asia, this coming Monday, we also have to have a workshop, physical workshop in Islamization of knowledge by Dr. Fatih Makawi. And also we already conducted one workshop on AI chat GPT. We're going to do another one on 20th of March, because this chat GPT is a new innovation, but how we are Muslim Ummah can benefit it, because we just testing it. The chat GPT can do tazkirah in for Ramadan day by day, and we put all the Quran and Hadith at the same time. But not really unfortunately, but Alhamdulillah, we are tested the Chat GPT. They cannot write Quran. This proven that a Quran is written by Allah SWT. Nobody, human being or artificial intelligence can compete that. So with these new challenges, new post-normal times that we are facing now, our Muslim Ummah should be ready, should well prepared, and I want to congratulate Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, Kuliah Ribbon Knowledge and Sciences, that together with us, and especially IIUM leadership, supporting IIIT, inshallah, we can together, we can do this universities online, inshallah. With that, I end with Wabillahi Taufiq wa Hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, Prof. Fauzan, the director of IIIT East and Southeast Asia, for articulating those different programs that IIIT East and Southeast Asia is currently working on, as well as the mission and vision of IIIT and how it relates to the short course, online course that we are going to do on Quran and Sunnah, and the various important latest developments in science and technology, especially in ICT, and the importance of putting them into context when we study Quran and Sunnah, and contextualizing them in our current situation. Thank you, Prof. Fauzan, for that very illuminating speech. And now we come to the main speaker of this program, this launching ceremony, Prof. Omar Hasan Kasule, who is the Secretary General of the International Institute of Islamic Thought, IIIT. He will present his address for 30 to 40 minutes, specifically on this particular program. Prof. Kasule, the floor is yours. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Before we start, I would like to request that Prof. Jamil, if the internet cuts off, call me on the phone so that I can connect using my Saudi line. I have been noticing some interruptions. I don't know whether the interruptions are from your end or my end. But if we have a problem, call me so that I change from the Omani to the Saudi internet, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum
To
assalam.
be with you this afternoon or this night in this wonderful program. To start by thanking all of you, the participants, the registrants who registered for this course, rising to the occasion and understanding the importance of Quran and Sunnah in your lives, trying to get more knowledge, more understand these very important aspects of your life. You've done a great job, and may Allah give you the best of rewards. You are really the purpose for our being here. So you take the best of congratulations and thanking and appreciation. I also would like to thank the Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kuliah of Islamic Knowledge for the support of this program. They are giving us the platform, the lectures, the credibility to this. May Allah reward them very well. Professor Shukran and Professor Nashwan, Jazakumullah kulla khair. I also thank our all in the office of the IIIT, East and Southeast Asia, Prof. Jamil, the director, Prof. Fauzan, and Prof. Aslam, and all their supporters. Also, I want to thank our representatives, Brother Yusuf Yu from Hong Kong, Brother Habib Khirizin, and others from various parts of Southeast Asia for being with us today to lend support. all of the people I have mentioned, they are very knowledgeable on Quran and Sunnah. They don't learn anything. They are here to give moral support to the people who are here to learn. I want to make a few remarks about Quran and Sunnah, and then try to persuade you that Quran and Sunnah are ahead of us. If the Muslims, we are behind. We are trying to catch up. These are not historical documents. These are not part of the legacy. They are for the future. As you will see, Quran and Sunnah are catching up developments. I'll be talking about artificial intelligence, and you will see that the eternal message of the Quran and Sunnah is really catching up and dealing with these new challenges. They will continue dealing with new challenges successfully until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Now, let us start by reminding ourselves of a few basic facts about the Quran and Sunnah. First of all, the Quran has got a definition. The ulama defined the Quran. It has got a very precise technical definition. That Quran is Allah's words. Mark the point. Allah's words means Quran doesn't have any human speech. Every word in the Quran is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the Arabic language. Now, the whole of the Quran is in the Arabic language, no other language in it. One of the great things about the Quran is that it was transmitted to us in continuity. The Prophet got the verses, he recited them, the Sahaba memorized them, later on they wrote them down. This transmission has been continuous until today. There has never been any discontinuity in the transmission of the Quran until it reached us. There are many other religious books that have had discontinuities. We don't know how so-and-so recited it and how did so-and-so learn it from him. See, there are many others, and I think Quran is unique in this aspect. If you go through the history, maybe of other books like the Bible, the Torah, you will discover gaps in the history when we don't know how the transmission occurred. But for the Quran, it transmitted in continuity. And we have got the pleasure to know that this transmission will continue. I am amazed how many young children are taken to schools of Hifz al-Quran by the millions. By the millions, our youths are memorizing the Quran to ensure that the transmission will be continuous, inshallah, in the future. Another aspect of the definition of the Quran is that it's written in the Mus'haf. You see, you can write verses of the Quran in books. You can write verses of the Quran in a journal. You can write it on your book, your pad, on your computer. But what is called Quran is written in the Mus'haf, the beginning of Fatiha until the end. That's the Quran. Now, reading Quran is worship. Whenever you read Quran, you are in ibadah. That's something very special with the Quran. That's Surah Al-Fatiha and ends with Surah Al-Nas. So that's the technical definition that the ulama use for the Quran to make sure that you know what the Quran is and what other religious texts are, because we cannot mix the two. Quran is unique and its unicity should be respected. Now, I was talking about the revelation and preservation of the Quran, which is one of the miracles. It's a religious text that has been preserved in its exact revelation. There are many archaeologists who are looking for all the copies of the Quran. So far, they have been disappointed. They have found a Quran of 8 years ago, 6 years ago, founded years ago, they have never found a difference from the text that we have got today. So historically and archaeologically, we know that the Quran has been revealed. Now, the revelation of the Quran is also a miracle because it's a form of problem-based learning. The Quran was not revealed in one go, that the whole book was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ from Surah Al-Fatiha to Surah Al-Nas. No, the Quran was revealed ad hoc. Each verse would come at a different time. So if you are to arrange the Quran today, how it was revealed, you will be having a chronology of early Islamic history, because the verses of the Quran were revealed when there was a problem in the community that had to be solved by those verses of the Quran. And that is why we have got a special branch of Quranic studies called Asbabun Nuzul, the reason for revelation. Every verse had a reason, had an occasion in the community when it was revealed. It's another miracle of the Quran in that the Sahaba were able to understand it very well, because unlike us, for us, we just read. Maybe we understand, maybe we do not understand. But the Sahaba used to receive a verse of the Quran when there was a real issue related to that verse. So they couldn't forget because it was related to something very practical. There's no other religious book that has got this unique characteristic of being related directly to the problems of society to make sure that the first Muslims understood it very well. And because of the way it was revealed, the early Muslims memorized the Quran very well. They also wrote it down immediately. See, there are some people who say that the Quran was written later at the time of Abu Bakr and the time of Osman. That's not correct. The Quran used to be written down immediately. What was to collect all the written records and put them together. But the book was committed to writing immediately. Now, what Osman did was to standardize the written records. First of all, he used only the Quraysh dialect, because when people wrote the verses, each one could write in their own dialect. So Uthman said we are going to use only the Quraysh dialect. He produced several official copies of the Quran and distributed them all over the Muslim world. So this book is unique in that a lot of care has been taken to preserve it historically. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue protecting this book in its purity. What I want to say is that by you attending this course, you are taking part in this preservation of the message of the Quran, message of the Sunnah. Now, the Quran has got characteristics, and I think as you go through the course, I want you to look out for these characteristics. The Quran is very practical. It talks about things to do, how to do them. The Quran is very rational. It challenges the mind. The Quran doesn't indoctrinate. The Quran raises questions, causes you to think, causes you to understand. So it's very rational in its approach, and it's an intellectual miracle. Quran deals with many things. Things about aqidah, spiritual refinement, and guidance. But the practical guidance part of the Quran, I think maybe it is the least, because we know that ayatul ahkam, the verses that deal with what to do, what not to do, are a minority. The Quran has got more than 6,000 verses, but ayatul ahkam are few. For example, there are only 70 on munakahat, matters of marriage, mu'amalat about 70, jinayat, these are the verses about criminal, about 30 of them, iqtisad, economic matters, 10 verses, judging 13 verses, government 10, and international law 25 verses. So when you see Ayatul Ahkam, actually not many, because most of the Quran is about Aqidah, spiritual refinement. But then the Quran is very comprehensive. See, the Quran didn't have to mention all the practical things because it's comprehensive. It gives you the principles and the paradigms, deals with problems in a generic way, not a specific way, which is part of the miracle of the Quran. Because by being generic, it applies to every time and every space. صالح لكل زمان ومكان. So I beg you and I ask you, as you go through this course and you study an aspect of the Qur'an Sunnah, don't go out of the class that day without asking yourself the question, how does this relate to me, person, today, where I live? You need to be able to answer that question, because every verse of the Quran is addressing you in a micro environment. If you cannot answer that question, go back to the teacher and make it let you, because then you have it. It addresses you directly. It is relevant to your spatial and temporal circumstances. We said that the Quran is a source of the law, but as I have already qualified that, most of the Quran is not about ahkam. The verse of the Quran about ahkam actually limited. The Quran gives us the general principles for the development of the law, and it's the Sunnah that goes into the details. Now, some of the verses are straightforward. In fact, I think most of the verses are very straightforward, but there are some that mutashabihat that require a deeper interpretation. Now, even the muhkama depends on your intellectual level. A verse may be very obvious to you, but for someone who has got more discernment, he may see more things. A verse may be mutashabih. It may appear complicated, but to someone who has deep knowledge, deep understanding, it may be very clear. So these terms are relative. We shouldn't spend time arguing about what is mutashabih and what is muhkama, because these are very relative terms. It depends on the person reading. Now, I have already told you that the Quran challenges intellect. It does not indoctrinate. The Quran reasons with you. The Quran gives you the opposite view. You may be surprised that somebody as bad as Fir'aun said, Ana Rabbukum al-A'la. Fir'aun claimed that he was the highest God. But you know what? That statement of Fir'aun is recorded in the Quran. And when you pray in Salah, you repeat what Fir'aun said in speech without changing his words. You may ask the question, how come that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows a bad person like Fir'aun to speak in his book? This is the miracle, the intellectual miracle of the Quran, that we are not afraid of arguments. We are not afraid of facts, because we can reason them out. We can reason them back. We can answer them back. So no problem. We record the view of those who oppose, because we know we can prove them wrong. So this is good. Now, Quran is a primary source of law, and all other sources of our law are secondary to the Quran, and they have to be validated by the Quran. That's very straightforward. Now, Sunnah. Sunnah is a subgroup or subcategory of Hadith. Hadith is a wider term. Everything that has been reported from that era of the Prophet, and even a little bit after the era of the Prophet, could be Hadith. But Sunnah is a subgroup of Hadith. And Sunnah is part of Wahy. In Hadith, we have got reports of historical events that are not Wahy, not revelation. But Sunnah is Wahy, is revelation. Like the Quran, the Sunnah has got technical definitions. So please, as you go through this course, make sure that you are specific when you use these technical terms. When you say Sunnah, be very strict. What do we call Sunnah? Sunnah, the words of the Prophet, what he said, and his actions, that's what he did, and agreement. Some things were said in his presence, and he did not oppose them. Some things were done in his presence, and he did not oppose them. So that is called tacit agreement by the Prophet. So this is the definition of the Sunnah. Anything that doesn't fit those three defining characteristics is not a Sunnah. It may be Hadith. Okay? Now, when we talk about Hadith, there's another intellectual miracle of Islam that I want you to focus on as you go through your course. A Hadith has got two parts. There is the Sanad. Sanad is the chain of transmitters, people who narrated the Hadith. Someone had it from the Prophet, another one had it from that one, another one had it from the next one until it. That's the Sanad, the chain of transmission. We want to make sure that the chain of transmission is correct. And there is a specialized branch of Hadith study that focuses on studying the Sanad. It studies the people. There are many books called books, Ma'ar-Rijal, names of men, or biographies. Each one who transmitted a Hadith, we've got his biographical details. How was his memory? How was his religiosity? How was his character? Could we tell a lie? So Sanad is very important. And then Matin is the text of the Hadith. So when the ulama are checking the validity of the Hadith, they look at both the Sanad and the Matin. Now, come to the modern period. We've got a lot of science, a lot of research, a lot of publication. We read scientific journals. The scientific journals, nobody talks about Sanad, because Sanad includes checking the reliability of the reporters. None of us ever takes the time to check whether the scientist who published what he published actually was sincere in his laboratory. We're not concerned about that. That's why there is a lot of false science being published today, because we forget a very important thing, that if knowledge comes to you through a human being, you must make sure that his thiqah, he can be trusted, and his adil, is somebody who is straightforward. So Sanad and Matin, again, having consideration of the two is something that's very unique to our Islamic intellectual heritage. Some hadith Nabawi and hadith Quds. Hadith Nabawi, these are hadith that the Prophet used his own words. The wahy came to him that he formulated the words. Hadith Qudsi, even the words of the hadith came to him as a wahy. There are varying definitions of this. You know, we shouldn't be held on this one, but we need to understand. Now, another issue that comes up, and I think you need to take your teachers to task as they teach you. The systematic writing of the hadith started late. There is a specific incident when Sayyidina Omar forbade the writing of hadith. Why? Because at that time, writing was not widespread. There were few writing materials, few papers, few places where to write. The Quran was being written. It was feared that if both are written at the same time, confusion could occur between the two. So the writing of hadith was delayed. But again, I want to discuss this very carefully with your teachers because it may lead to confusion. It doesn't mean hadith was not written. No. Many people wrote the hadith as soon as they had it. But the systematic collection and writing was delayed until the Quran was fully written, systematized, and collected very well in the Mus'haf, so that there was no chance of mixing it up. Another thing that's unique to our Ummah, and I don't think there is another civilization that has got this, is that the hadith are classified according to their level of technical authenticity. I am using the word technical advisedly because we have got al-hadith al-sahih, this is the highest one. Then you have got al-hadith al-hasan. Then you have got others, mawdu', da'if, mursal. And the books that we use for hadith are also classified. You have got a sihah, like Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Those are the most accurate books. Then there is a Sunan, Sunan Abu Dawood. So, then there is al-Masanid, Musnad al-Imam Ahmad, and then Muwatta al-Imam Malik. Each of these books had a different way of collecting and categorizing hadith. You need to understand the differences between the different books. And also you need to understand how come that there are many hadiths on one matter. And actually some of them are different. One hadith may tell you do it this way. Another one may tell you do it that way. That again is part of the miracle of our religion. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he used to give people, would give a lot of things in various ways, because one hadith could be applicable in a certain situation, another could be applicable in another situation. I hate when I find Muslims arguing about these matters, because this, all of it is part of the rahmah of this ummah, that we have got flexibility. The Prophet ﷺ taught several alternative ways of getting things done. Now, the reporting of the hadith is again another miracle that's not in many other religious communities. Because some hadith are called mutawatir, that is, if narrated by many people, is virtually 100% correct. Mashhur, if at least 2 people report the hadith. We also have got hadith al-ahad. We've got some hadith reported only by one sahaba. We have had a lot of arguments among the scholars. Is it valid? Is it not valid? It's a waste of time. You know, our problem in the ummah is we get caught up on semantics and lose sight of the meat. So we shouldn't spend time on semantics. We should spend time on the big things. So hadith al-ahad, some people consider it dalil. Others do not consider it dalil. But then we could have an argument when this hadith al-ahad is all agrees with the Quran. So as you go through this course, please get well educated, get to understand things, and do not engage in the useless argumentations called jadal that goes on in our ummah about hadith, about Quran, about fiqh. You need to know that there are several points of view and all of them are correct. And probably the Prophet said all of them. They are all valid. So if your brother differs from you on a matter, just listen, try to understand, and do not engage in useless argumentation. The hadiths are also graded. The ulama took a lot of trouble to grade the hadith. Why? Because these details of legislation. Before we derive legislation from the hadith, we need to know the strength of that hadith. So some are called Sahih, these are the best. Then there is Jayyid, and there is Hasan. Muttafaq alayh is when the two great Imams both reported the hadith. Musnad is a hadith that has got a continuous chain of narrators to the Prophet. We know who narrated it from whom. But sometimes it's not possible, because sometimes we know so and so reported from so and so, but maybe there is a gap. We know that this person didn't see that one. So when there is a break in the chain of narrators, the hadith takes a lower level. Sometimes the hadith is reported up to the Sahabi without specific mention that went to the Prophet. Okay, there is mursal, munqati'. So there are many gradations of the hadiths. I want you to take your teachers to task to explain to you how these grades relate to the strength of the hukum that we can get from a specific hadith. You need to understand this, because part of what you are going to learn is the role of Sunnah in legislation. Sunnah has many roles in our law. It can affirm what the Quran says, and most of it affirms the Quran. Or it can explain, like Salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to make Salah, and he talked about some of the actions of Salah, like ruku' and sujood. But the details, we get them from Sunnah. Sometimes the Sunnah can mention things not mentioned in the Quran, because the Sunnah is also an independent source of law, an independent revelation. We need to obey the Sunnah, because obeying the Sunnah means obeying to the Prophet ﷺ. So sometimes we may have a situation in which we do not see complete concordance between the Quran and the Sunnah, that Sunnah comes second to the Quran. One of the great miracles of our law is that Sunnah is interpreted in the light of the general principles of the Quran, the social situation in the prophetic era. That is why study of Sirah is very important. And I would argue, after you finish this course, also to take courses on Sirah, because you need to know the historical material situation at the time of revelation, so that you can relate the Sunnah life of the time. Also, it's impossible to understand the Sunnah if you are not strong in the Arabic language. So I would argue Professor Shukran, Jamil, and others involved to complement this course on Quran and Sunnah, courses on Sirah, the historical part of the prophetic era, and also with the courses on the Arabic language. You can be able to understand deeply. And if you understand deeply, then you can think, you can deliberate, you can be able to be creative. And I want to move to something that's very, very important regarding Quran and Sunnah, and I will be ending very soon. Quran and Sunnah are the two sources of the law. They are not legacy, not truth. They are not our intellectual heritage or history. In fact, Quran and Sunnah are ahead of us. Quran are ahead of us. They look forward. They anticipate problems. It is we Muslims who we get lazy, we do not use our mind well, and fail to understand the implications of the Sunnah for things that are happening today and things that are happening in the future. The two of them, they anticipate and solve future problems. Unfortunately, many people cannot see this, and they want to solve future problems looking to historical precedents. Quran and Sunnah are interpretable according to the social and physical circumstances of the era in which we live. So Quran and Sunnah are alive. Their message is permanent and their message is perennial. It's always relevant. What the problem is that the Muslims' understanding of Quran and Sunnah is usually behind. So they are not able to use these two great sources of guidance to solve the problems that are facing them. And when we talk about Islamic reform of our societies, we are talking about going ahead, not going backwards. Because there are many people, when we talk about Tajdid and Islah, they think about going back to the historical picture that happened in the past, and we want to apply what happened in the past to today. No, Tajdid and Islah are forward-looking. We are going ahead and we are not going backwards. What we need to do is to take the principles of the Quran and Sunnah and apply them to emerging problems. I would like to end by talking about a current challenge that all of us are now facing in this fourth industrial revolution. That is artificial intelligence. As a doctor, I used to get afraid that artificial intelligence may put me out of work. I may have to go back to university and start another job, because artificial intelligence now can diagnose many diseases better than we humans. Artificial intelligence can pass medical examinations. It can pass a law examination. Artificial intelligence can do all the assignments we give students to do. If you ask a student to write an essay on a certain matter, he can ask AI, and AI will produce a very good essay. Yesterday, somebody read to us a poem about children, a very nice poem. And at the end of the poem, he said, this poem was written by AI. We had enjoyed it. And then we were surprised that artificial intelligence could write that poem. See, AI can drive cars. So it's changing our society. It's changing our society in the sense that many things that before used to be done by the human brain are now taken over by the machine. But I want to make it very clear that what the machine is taking over are the mechanical things that the brain used to do. As a doctor, when you come to me with a fever and a headache, immediately I think of 10 conditions that can come with a fever and a headache. Then I ask you some questions. Are you hungry? Do you have a disease? Did someone hit you on the head? For every question asked, when you answer, I narrow down the possibilities. By the time I finish asking all the questions and examining you and doing laboratory tests, I narrow down the diagnosis. So this is how the mind works. It takes me a lot of time to do this. It may take me 20 minutes. It may take an hour before reaching a diagnosis. When it's the machine doing it, a few seconds, it can do it faster. And sometimes more systematically than the human can do. But these are mechanical things that go on in the brain. So what artificial intelligence has taken over are these mechanical things. But we have got some ethical worries, because sometimes artificial intelligence seems to be taking over things that are not purely mental mechanics. For example, now these machines can be programmed to have some human-like behaviors. Let us say there are Alzheimer or demented patients. They have no emotions. They don't have these feelings. Autistic children. So they can program a machine to take care of them. The machine has no emotions, but since emotions are not involved in this interaction, The machine can take care of them, give them food, wash them, do a lot of things that they want to do. But now here is where we run into trouble, because now we are trying to assign human-like behaviors like compassion to a machine. Now, what's the ethics of this? This is the challenge. We need to go back to the Quran and Sunnah and see whether this is ethical. Is this acceptable? And this is what I told you, that Islam is ahead of us, because Quran and Sunnah have to come up to the occasion to deal with the most recent discoveries. Like what is going on today in AI is a big problem. AI can write a paper, a scholarly paper, and the problem is a person can cooperate with AI to write a paper. And I have seen someone who said this paper was written by AI and Dr. So-and-so. Of course, when I have got Dr. So-and-so as an author, he has got ethical and legal responsibility for the contents. But then what about AI? If there is something wrong in the paper, if plagiarism, AI must be responsible. How can I charge AI for transfer? It's an ethical issue that we need to think about. AI can make mistakes. Autonomously driven cars could knock someone down. Now, who is responsible for killing that person? Is it the person who wrote the program, who wrote the code? Is it the owner of the car? Is it the manufacturer of the car? So these are new ethical issues that as students of Quran and Sunnah and Islamic law, we have to come up to the challenge and deal with them. There is even another aspect of artificial intelligence. I talked about it some time ago. There is a new form of riba that is happening. Riba basically means getting money that you did not struggle for. You didn't provide a service or good. You just lend the money to someone and tell him to give you 10% more. So that is called gainful gain without effort. And that's what's wrong with riba, that you are getting something without effort or without exchanging it for another good. But now with the AI, I can program a machine that can produce goods. It will keep on producing for 10 years, for 20 years, and I keep on getting money. Is that earning justified? Because I'm not putting in any effort. I just programmed it. It took me 3 hours to write the code, and I go away, and I can get money for all of my life. So these are things that we need to talk about. I want to end by talking about the Quranic concept of taskhir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sakhara al-kawn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the whole universe under the control of humans. Humans are on the top of the pyramid. We can eat all animals, we can eat all plants, we can make animals do things for us, we can produce tools, we can our environment. No other creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got this power to control creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or to control environment. We are the only ones who can do this, and this is what is called taskhir. And actually, the special position of humans, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, Allah gave human beings a special position because of this taskhir. We are on top of everything. But the fear from artificial intelligence is that we may end up producing machines that control us. It's the reverse taskhir. This is a matter that we need to think about. We may lose control of the machines. The machines may become autonomous. They do what they want without human direction. So all of these are issues that need solutions. But the solutions are in the Quran and Sunnah. So we need new ijtihad, new intellectual effort, new research to catch up with the changes in our environment. I will stop here. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me now? Thank you very much, Prof. Omar, for that very enlightening lecture. We heard you very clearly throughout your presentation. Alhamdulillah, for that very informative and very comprehensive presentation. You covered a number of important issues in that presentation. The importance of all us Muslims to study the Quran and Sunnah and to understand them, the concepts and principles in the Quran and Sunnah clearly, and how to relate them to our current situation. You highlighted some technical aspects of studying Quran and Sunnah. I think the participants benefited a lot listening to you. You also highlighted the importance of also having some understanding of Seerah. And I think this is important contribution. We probably will have to think of how we can integrate this in as part of our future courses. Arabic language. Also, you highlighted the importance of understanding Arabic so that we can be able to understand the Quran and Sunnah better. And in the end, you provided that very important case study of an emerging issue of artificial intelligence and ethics of artificial intelligence, and how we should strive to relate the principles of Quran and Sunnah to define these emerging and important issues in our situation today, like artificial intelligence. I'm sure there will be a lot of discussion during the course of the 18 weeks when participants will be taking part in these courses. Alhamdulillah, we had about 135 live participants listening to you from Zoom, and I'm sure a lot more from the other channels that we have online at the moment. Thank you, Prof. Omar. For the participants, I would like to also inform you that Prof. Omar Kasule has accepted to contribute as a lecturer in this course later during this period of 18 weeks. So Alhamdulillah, we will have him coming to share more of his knowledge to the participants, and you will have more time to interact with Prof. Omar and ask him questions and learn from him. So there will be a lot more coming from Prof. Omar and the other experts that is highlighted by Dato Jamil during his introductory speech. Thank you very much, Prof. Omar, for that presentation. Now, to thank Prof. Omar and to give some final remarks and advice to the participants, I would like to once again invite Prof. Emeritus Dato Jamil Osman to come and speak for 2 or 3 minutes to conclude our session this evening. Prof. Jamil, if you are hearing me, please take the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Omar, for your very clear lecture on the Quran and Sunnah. I think you have covered at least your first lecture. You will be seeing you again on the 17th of June until 22nd of July in your lecture, Quran and Science, focusing on biological science. I'm sure you have a lot to see on that, and many people would like to listen how Islam and science are related in their life. So with that, we would like to thank you, Prof. Omar, for taking your time to be with us tonight. Although you are on your way from Uganda going to Riyadh, stop over in Muscat, Oman for 1 hour to be with us. Jazakallah khairan. And we pray for you and pray for your mother, inshallah, mother will get well soon, inshallah. Will be happy to be with the family, especially yourself and the others. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank all the others as well for the participant. 140 participants participated in this launching program. As what had been said by Dr. Rashad, some of them would be viewing this program through Facebook and YouTube channel, inshallah. Because in the other part of the region, the time difference. Okay. So thank you very much to Prof. Rashad for moderating this program for the whole night. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to see you again tomorrow morning, inshallah, at 9 o'clock Malaysian time. And then Professor Rashad will again moderate tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Prof. Jamil, is Dr. Nashwan around with us? Dr. Nashwan, are you here? I would like to. Is Dr. Nashwan here? Can someone unmute Dr. Nashwan Khaled, please?
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you, Doctor.
We would like to request your dua, Prof. Nashwan, to conclude our program for tonight. Please, some dua from Dr. Nashwan. Fadal.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين.
آمين.
اللهم يا الله يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا رب العالمين اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما
آمين.
واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا مباركا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا معنا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم إنا نسألك بفضلك العظيم وبجلال وجهك العظيم أن تمنحنا القوة والسعادة والبركة والعافية وأن توفقنا إلى كل ما تحبه وترضاه. اللهم بارك في هذا البرنامج، اللهم بارك فيه وفي القائمين عليه وفي المشاركين فيه وفي المقدمين. اللهم اجعله برنامجا نافعا مباركا. اللهم يا رب العالمين أعز به دينك وانصر به سنة نبيك وكتابك الكريم إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم بارك لنا في شعبان وبلغنا يا ربنا رمضان ووفقنا فيه للخير والطاعة والبر والإحسان. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا ونسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى إنك على كل شيء قدير. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصل اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you, Dr. Nashwan. Thank you, everybody. Prof. Shukran, Prof. Fauzan, Dato Jamil, and Prof. Omar Hasan Kasule for your contribution tonight. May Allah accept our effort and bless us all. And inshallah, to all participants, we begin our class tomorrow, 9 a.m. Malaysian time for the first class. Inshallah, until tomorrow, we thank Allah for having us have this successful opening launching ceremony, and we hope to see everybody tomorrow morning, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.